So do you guys have like a set list of things that can be done if one of you guys were at 20? Like it might be like, oh, I'll make his favorite tea that he likes. I'll leave him alone for half an hour, or I'll run a bath. He'll run a bath for you, whatever. Like, do you guys have specific things that you've let each other know that can help you?
Yeah. So because we are fortunate enough to work at the same spot and have the exact same schedule, right? So we're fortunate enough. For example, today, with everything that the eventful week that I had, I woke up and I told him, I said, like, I'm out of 20. I got a lot of stuff I need to do today to concentrate for tonight. I'm going to need support, right? So you know what? The night before yesterday, he said, I got you. Sleep in. Don't even set an alarm. Whenever you wake up is when you come to work, right? So, okay, great. I woke up with no pressure, no stress, no beeping. I got to relax with my dogs. So it brought me back up to where I needed to be, so that by the time I got there, I was like, okay, my 20 is I'm at a 50, I'm at a 60. How can I help you now? He bought a new car, so he wanted to go do the test drive today, put the down payments on all paperwork. So how can I support you? Because now your battery's draining a little bit because you're so focused here that you just want to go get your car. I know you're excited. So together, and it's communication, right? And without that communication, it's really hard to have a disorder and be in a relationship. He has a disorder, but it's like not a mental, it's like I shouldn't say it's not mental. He's got anxiety or severe depression. That's what it is. It goes up and down, but he's a lot more stable than I. And he's also got things like dyslexia that then causes an increase in anxiety if he's in a meeting and he can't read something and he's trying to present. So it's like we have our different niches, but we support each other where we can. Yeah.
That's good.
Cute.
Does anybody have anything else to add to that when it comes to
self-care is very important.
So what do you mean by that?
Like what Cheyenne said about hanging out with her dogs this morning and just like taking time to herself to like detox and just like relax. Like if she hadn't have done that, she might have been in a completely different mood today.
I think that, another thing that most people overlook is, when you're having these negative thoughts or having a down day, I think that one of the first things you should look at, or the first two things, is how much have you slept and what have you been eating? I think those two things really affect you. Like if you've been consuming, just garbage all day and you're going to constantly be crashing, right? And you only slept 3 hours, then no matter how beautiful the day might be, sunny outside, you're going to be gloomy. So I think that really is the first step when it comes to self-care is getting the right amount of sleep. And then, what you put inside you, food, Melissa, inside you, that is going to affect how your day is going to turn out, right? I find that people who have like they eat, takeout food all the time or stuff with like, a lot of sugar.
40 nuggets or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
You're going to crash. Like, or
I thought
like,
it was 80.
Like, what are you drinking there right now, Cheyenne? What are those?
These are the yellow edition Red Bulls. But granted, these are the first time I've discovered energy drinks, and I'm feeling them out.
One thing,
Do you feel anything?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think what you do like on a daily basis definitely is going to affect.
Consistency is important.
And obviously, a lot of people don't realize that when you're working full time, you spend more time at work awake than anywhere else.
Yeah.
So that environment is definitely going to influence, how you feel and how your day is going to go. I think that what Cheyenne was saying, and that I find is really deep, is you have to be vulnerable. You got to show your vulnerable side and not be afraid of being judged or have someone throw that back at you after, right? So you're exposing yourself in the raw. This is me. Like, this is how I am. There's nothing hidden. There's no walls up. There's no shame to this. This is who I am. And if you've got a loving partner, sometimes that's not enough, right? Love is not just a word. It's an action, right? So to be able to actually make your partner feel love, it has to do with how you act towards that individual, right? So if they open up to you and they share something with you, it should just be, I understand. Like, okay, great. Those are just comforting words, but it's the action from there that counts.
Follows.
And most people, a lot of people freeze at that moment because they don't know what to do. If they don't, it's like if you were to open up to somebody and say, this is what I need from you. Most people are like, okay, like I'll do what I can, but a lot of them are going to run.
Oh yeah, and
right?
the people that don't run are going to freak out because people freak out at things that they don't know about, right?
Or they'll take advantage of you.
Exactly.
That's what they'll find out what your weaknesses are, right? So I think that with dance, the people are vulnerable because they have to be, not be as self-conscious as they normally are. They're putting themselves out there. There are people are watching them, and they don't give a shit. Like, I don't care what you think. I'm having fun. I'm being me, and I'm enjoying myself.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the same thing goes with singing. Like, you have all these singers that are like top singers. It's not just only because they have a great voice. A lot of people have an amazing voice. They're not self-conscious. Like, they don't give a shit. They will sing and they'll belt it out, and they don't care what people think. Same thing with acting. Acting has to do with confidence. Everyone is nervous. All actors are nervous. You can talk to the top actors and say, yeah, I was very nervous on set, but they know how to channel that nervous energy into the right area. And they don't care what people think. So if someone was told that you have to cry and you have to, like, rage in a scene, or you got to do a stupid, silly dance or make an ass of yourself, people are so self-conscious. They're like, if they're in their bathroom in front of the mirror, they'll do it no problem. But all of a sudden, doing it in front of people, they're going to hold back because they don't want to show that vulnerable side of them, right? So I think that's where I think dance comes in very handy. It boosts their confidence level that way.
Yeah, and I think authentic is the only place to start with everybody.
Yeah.
And so when, like, I don't know any of you, but it's nice to, like, go to authentic and
It's
hear
genuine.
what the authentic really is, right? Rather than saying surface.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's where real happens. And so,
Sadly, I find that, Kate, nowadays, especially with social media, I find that the authentic self doesn't really exist for a lot of people, right?
we are so good at facade.
Yeah.
We're the best.
Oh, yeah.
Like, here's who I am, not really, but here's what I want you to think.
It's
of
a
who I am.
mirage.
Yeah.
Well, I was telling Yulia, if you recall, that, I had met this, this female who's a talent, and her Instagram had, over 100K followers, right? And every single photo looked like it either fell out of like a bridal magazine, out of Cosmo, out of something from Hollywood. Every single photo was like, shot at like the most beautiful beach, or like, with a bouquet of like 100 flowers, or like the most extravagant evening dress, or like, it was all like, you're like, wow, this person's living the lifestyle of the rich and famous, right? And when I met this individual, they were complaining to me about, the cost of taking Uber down, and it costs like $20. And they're complaining about how they have 3 roommates because they can't afford to pay the rent themselves. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I saw your Instagram page, and like, it makes it seem like you travel the world, like in first class, or you have your own private jet. But here you are, and it's like, oh yeah, it's all fake. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is that?
Most of social media is fake.
Yeah. And then I said, like, so, the girl was single, right? So I said, okay, so like, are you married? Are you single? She said, no, I'm single. I said, so what, like, you're portraying this fake, bullshit facade. What's the point of it? And she's like, oh, so when men want to date me, they know what my standards are. I was like, that's ridiculous.
That doesn't make sense to
Like,
me.
that is beyond like, yeah. Yeah. So a lot of, obviously there's like thirst photos and so on, but a lot of people on social media, it's gotten so bad that they actually have, apps like to filter your photo, where they change the shape of their waist and it make it more curvy, and they can stretch their body out. Like, it's
really easy to do in Photoshop nowadays.
yeah. So I've met a lot of models, and before I'll visit their Instagram page, they will tell me that, by the way, these photos are not really the way that I look physically. I'm like, what? Excuse me? Like, what do you mean? Like, oh, I'm not that toned. But meanwhile, their bikini shots, you can kind of tell there's something off, because,
you can see in the background sometimes it'll like warp.
yeah, and it's like, then why are you posting this? I don't understand. Like, what's the point of all that, right? And then along with that, you've also got like social media anxiety. Like, a lot of the youth today, when they post stuff, if they don't get likes, they're depressed the entire day. It affects their mood. Like, if someone wakes up and they take a picture of like a brand new pair of runners that they bought, they might post it, before they go to school. And by the end of the day, they only got 2 likes. They're depressed. And then they get home and they're pissed off and grumpy. And then by dinner, they got 25. They're all upbeat again. Yay. And it's like you need validation from like who? Somebody in Japan? Like, I don't understand. Like,
Most of them are bots anyways.
yeah. I find it's very sad. So I feel that people have lost their genuine self, their authentic self. And a lot of individuals who are on social media on a regular basis actually kind of feel in a weird way that they're some kind of a celebrity. Like I deal with people like this all the time. They might have like 2,000 followers,
Yeah.
and the girl has like a bit of a diva complex. And it's like you have 2,000. Yeah, I know, but because every time she posts something, some guy will be like, "Oh my God, you're so gorgeous and you're so beautiful," and that feeds her ego.